Well, the Newcastle go to Watford this weekend. Plenty going on and off the pitch at St James's Park, and the same was true last time we went to Watford. That's about 3 years ago now, I think. You were there that day. There was one or two eyebrow-raising elements to that match.
Yeah, well, obviously, if you remember back, the Glenn Roeder had been sacked by Freddie back then, and he walked out. Newcastle finishing in the disgraceful position of 12th place in the Premier League, which doesn't sound too bad to me.
Sounds all right, doesn't it?
Just being knocked out of Europe in the last 16 of the competition, which doesn't sound that bad. And then obviously we went down there with our manager. Nigel Pearson was in charge. There was a bust up in the hotel when Charles Nzogbe was sending the text message. Oba Martin stormed out because of that. Then Charles Nzogbe stormed out because Obafemi Martin stormed out, and that was all just before the game kicked off.
Life's never dull, certainly. Although this time you've got a manager in Chris Hughton who's steadied the ship, and there doesn't seem to be any dissenting voices within the dressing room. Newcastle obviously top of the table, and they're going there to try and really put right the wrongs that they've committed on the road over the last couple of months. If they'd won just a couple of the away games that they've fallen in recently, then you'd think that would be home and dry at the top of the Championship. You'd
think so. I mean, when you again comparing last time we were there to this time, the team spirit was virtually non-existent. There was a lot of players that were ready, bags packed and ready to go. And I mean, if you remember back to that last time, Kieran Dyer scored but didn't celebrate. And Matty Patterson ran into Michael Owen and he got stretched off, and the team were just all over the place really. This time the team's got a bit of organisation. Yes, we're in a bad league, we all know that. I think even the players probably know that, but they can only beat what's in front of them. They defend really well. 17 clean sheets says it all. No reason why they shouldn't go down there and keep another one. And they seem to be playing for each other, which is something we haven't seen for a long time. And if that's can lay the foundations to get promoted, then great.
But do you think the emphasis on building a sort of strong foundation at the back has maybe cost Newcastle on their travels in recent weeks? There's been certainly the suggestion that in games like Leicester away, where the opposition went down to 10 men after half an hour, Newcastle should really have gone for the jugular, and they've been a little bit too cautious on the road. Would you agree?
Well, I think it's without sort of sitting on the fence, time will tell really. With that, I mean, I thought Leicester was like ultra defensive, where it was almost like we had 10 men the way we were playing. But these little points they sort of rack up, don't they, over the course of the season? And I think until you actually got the final copy of the league table in front of you, that's the only time you can tell. But if you're asking us if you should push on and be offensive and just go and let's get promoted and let's get out of the way as quickly as possible, I'm all for that. I'd love to see Newcastle get promoted in the sort of first couple of weeks of March, I mean, and in December, if they'd have kept up the rate they were winning at that point, then they'd probably be promoted by this point. But we know football doesn't work like that. But getting promoted, the sooner the better. The sooner we stop talking about the possibility of slipping up.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's even better chance on paper for Newcastle tomorrow because Watford haven't got Tom Cleverley, a real sort of buzzing midfield dynamo in their ranks. He's on loan from Man United. He's obviously highly rated. Chris Hughton likes him. Has watched him on many occasions. He's suspended, so you would think that Newcastle, wouldn't be lacking too much in the midfield area by comparison with Watford. Whereas with Cleverley in the team, you might question whether Newcastle had the legs to cope with him. But there's no reason to go down there with any fear, is there?
No, definitely not. I mean, I think Cardiff went down there earlier in the season and stuck 4 past them. So I think they have got frailties that can be exposed. Danny Graham, who we know from up here, he'll be trying to get on the score sheet, I'm sure. But I think if Newcastle can, again, these early starts have been so vital in sort of recent games. The Cardiff game where was Andy Carroll scored.
That's right.
Pretty early on. And Lovren Kranz after about 130 seconds the other day. If Newcastle can get off to a start like that and then gradually grind them down and sicken them, then I think Newcastle will be looking at another 3 points here.
We'll see.